between arguably the top two teams in the world, Team USA versus Spain. Kevin Connors, Fran Fraschilla with you. A raucous environment inside La Caja Mágica, the magic box. It'll be a tall task for Kevin Durant and Team USA, the reigning NBA scoring champion from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's been asked to be more selfish this summer, Fran, and it's a role the 21-year-old is still adjusting to.
Well, he's the leading scorer in the NBA this past season, but Mike Krzyzewski wants him to play exactly with this team that he did in Oklahoma City this past year, despite the fact he's surrounded by other stars.
Has had trouble shooting the basketball the past two games, just 9 of 25 from the floor. Spain is loaded with NBA players, past, present, and future. But, Fran, the engine to this team is Juan Carlos Navarro.
Well, you know about Marc Gasol and Ricky Rubio coming to the NBA next year, but this is the crown prince of European basketball. Championships and MVPs, Navarro.
All right, let's take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Nike. Jorge Garbajosa, former NBA player. He'd signed a deal with the Toronto Raptors, broke a leg, ended his NBA playing career. He is playing professionally in Spain. It was a decision he made. And Chauncey Billups, the elder statesman on this team, in his words, he'll turn 34 in September, averaged 19.5 points per game last season. The first time a player averaged a career high in points in his 13th NBA season. Well, Fran, we had a chance to see Team USA take on Lithuania on Saturday. It was a USA team that really struggled offensively. So what sort of adjustments do they make for this game here today?
Well, it's interesting. Yesterday, they didn't run a lot of pick-and-roll basketball. You don't know if Coach K is saving some of the things that are their strengths for Turkey. But today they're going to meet a team that they know very well. They met the Spanish team in the '08 Olympics. It's a different USA team, still adjusting to FIBA play and definitely needing to improve their half-court offense.
These are two of the best teams in the world, although you say at times we may see them play with their foot on the brake somewhat.
Well, this is as you see, Paul Gasol, this is the European coaching way. Don't show everything you have in these friendly matches, because the important thing for Spain and for Team USA is what they do next week when they get to Turkey.
We are underway from La Caja Mágica. It's the magic box in Madrid, Spain. Opening tap goes out of bounds.
Very experienced Spanish team. If you think back to 2006 when they won the World Championship, remember, they won it with an injured Pau Gasol on the bench. So this starting five is still very, very capable of being a great basketball team.
Call a foul in the very early going. It's on Lamar Odom. Odom had 7 rebounds against Lithuania, but did not score the basketball at all.
Guy to keep an eye on today is going to be Marc Gasol. He's 7'1", 265, rapidly becoming one of the better centers, Kevin, in the NBA as Team USA goes to the zone right off the inbounds.
Rose gets a hand on it, down to 12 on the shot clock. Garbajosa tries a 3, and the rebound cleared by Kevin Durant. He was the leading rebounder a season ago for the Thunder.
Well, and keep in mind, Derrick Rose getting the start today. He only played 11 minutes in yesterday's game, in my opinion, because Coach K is still trying to find some of that formula for what will work.
Derrick Rose uses the window, and we saw him slip a bit on the floor with some of the new advertisements, Fran. That was an issue yesterday.
Well, it was. They've got that, as you mentioned, you see that. That happens a lot in college basketball when you put down those the advertisements down on the court.
Well, another foul, this time on Andre Iguodala. They are counting on him for his defense quite a bit on this team. In fact, Mike Krzyzewski said he's as good as anybody we've had so far on the defensive end. Jumper attempted that time by Calderon, and good defense by Derrick Rose. This is Billups, alley-oop in transition, but Iguodala can't throw it down.
You know, that's one of my pet peeves. You know, that's a good look, and you've got to finish those plays. The lob plays for Team USA throughout the exhibition games have not been high percentage plays.
Fran, you say that's almost viewed as an insult internationally.
Well, there are times when you throw the ball off the backboard and you have a guy come running in and dunking it. It really is. You're not going to get a lot of lobs against teams like Spain and Greece. You're going to have to really be solid fundamentally.
Team USA started the game 3 of 25 shooting yesterday, as Spain is cold to start this game. But, Fran, they were also just 1 of 3 on dunk attempts in the early go.
Now, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's important now for Team USA to be really efficient in terms of getting up and down the court, because we saw yesterday they have a long way to go in terms of their half-court execution.
This is Marc Gasol working on Odom down low. Some contact, but he's off the mark, and Spain has missed its first 4 shots.
Well, we've seen how physical FIBA play can be. That time, no call on the other end. And then a charge here. You see that semicircle, Kevin? That is not a factor in FIBA play. That will become a factor on October 1st, but that time, good solid position by the Spanish defender.
Garbajosa drawing the charge on Kevin Durant, the 3rd team foul on Team USA. We will get into all the different rules changes here in FIBA play, and the changes that will be upcoming to FIBA international rules as well.
Well, there's an example of what drives some people crazy about Rudy Fernandez getting out of control. Right now, the Rudy saga in Portland is an interesting one. They don't really want to trade him, but at the same time, he's frustrated in his role sitting behind Brandon Roy.
They call a traveling violation right there on Derrick Rose. And you're right. In fact, the Blazers and Nate McMillan reached out to Rudy Fernandez. He didn't respond to calls. And international basketball brings the world together, but it also brings coaches and players together, as Fernandez and McMillan, who's an assistant with Team USA, finally did have a chance to speak. Billups driving.
See, that's interesting. Calderon and Navarro are 2 guys who don't really guard the ball well. And so what Coach K did, rather than put a screener up there to bring the second defender, they opened up the floor and allowed Billups to get to the lane.
Timeout on the floor. It's been a slow shooting start for Spain. Team USA, the first 2 points of the game. More first quarter action coming up. Back in Madrid, Spain, Kevin Connors, Fran Fraschilla with you. And Fran, like we saw yesterday, a good defensive start for Team USA, but also some struggles on the offensive end.
Well, that's going to be the case. This is a work in progress. This team is new to each other. We talked about 2007 and 2008, how much experience guys like Wade and James and that group grew together. This group is still trying to find its identity.
Well, there's a man who may just be the identity of this team in Kevin Durant.
Well, good set play right there off the inbounds play, and Kevin Durant has got to take on the scoring responsibility. He's the only guy that we have that can go out in a Team USA situation and get 30 or 40 on a given night.
Driving layup attempt that time by Calderon, and Spain now 0 for 5 shooting from the floor in this game, as we see Alex Mumbrú check in for the first time.
Well, Mumbrú is one of those guys that doesn't have NBA ties, but has been a very, very solid player throughout his career. 9 players on this Spanish roster are either playing in the league, have played in the league, or will potentially play in the league in the near future.
That's one of the reasons why they are one of the major favorites to win this tournament, as Durant tries again, and he knocks down his 2nd straight jumper.
Now this is good. This is good for Kevin Durant. They created an isolation situation on the wing, and Kevin Durant is going to learn over the course of the next couple weeks where he can get his shots from in this offense.
They call a foul off the ball on Chauncey Billups. It's fascinating, Fran, to watch him play, Kevin Durant, and resist being the guy that takes all these shots. He says, you know what, there's so many other good players here, but those players want him taking those shots.
That's a good hands by Iguodala, who has been very active defensively. And as Durant finishes at the other end, it's a great point, Kevin, because you actually, if you're Kevin Durant, hurt Team USA if you don't look for your shots, because, again, he's the one guy that you know can go out and get 30 or 40 in a given FIBA game.
How often is the knock, as the jumper off the mark again by Spain, now 0 for 6 shooting the basketball? How often is the knock, he's too selfish of a player? Well, in the case of Kevin Durant, it's just the other way.
Well, when you have to play your role, and his role is to be the type of scorer that he is over the 82-game season. Youngest player in NBA history to lead the NBA in scoring a year ago.
Finding Iguodala in the corner, his 3 way off the mark. This is Navarro, open look.
Well, good pick and roll situation. Usually Team USA has been switching those screening rolls. A breakdown right there. Navarro is a guy that can really light it up. How about his 1 year in the NBA? He made 8 of 9 in a particular game against the New Orleans Hornets.
40th pick of the Washington Wizards in the 2002 NBA draft. He stayed in Spain, played for the Wizards. Actually was traded from the Wizards to Memphis in 2007.
Chauncey Billups is a guy that shoots almost 40% over his career from the NBA line. That should be a chip shot for him.
Here's Navarro again, dishing it a deep three that time by Garbajosa.
You see Coach K making sure Lamar Odom gets an early feel and flow going. A guy that's very versatile. He goes coast to coast, rebounds and finishes at the other end.
Lone remaining member of Team USA to previously represent the U.S. in a major international basketball competition. This is Marc Gasol, turnaround no, and while Spain is ice cold for Team USA, 6 of 10 from the floor.
And a good job on the defensive end. They're not letting Spain get to the pick and roll.
Derrick Rose knocks down a three, and boy, very different from yesterday. Team USA cannot miss here in the early going.
You see what you like is a good help defense now. In FIBA play, you can really load 5 guys to the basketball, and that's what Team USA has done early on.
Well, a bailout call. It's a foul on Iguodala with just 2 on the shot clock. That's the second foul on Andre Iguodala.
You know, Mumbrau gets away with a little hook right there. One thing I think we saw in yesterday's game against Lithuania as Ricky Rubio checks in, we'll talk about him, but I think the team, you listen to them after yesterday's game, they were a little taken back by how physical FIBA play is. And Andre Iguodala, particularly yesterday, I think got a real sense of the fact that they're going to have to play the way everybody else is used to playing. It's an adjustment for Team USA coming off those NBA rules.
Iguodala, one of the critical points of the game yesterday when the intentional foul was called on him in the open court as Russell Westbrook checks into the game. We see Tyson Chandler in the game and Eric Gordon as well, the LA Clipper who has impressed this summer. Here's Rose, straight on 3, and it's the first miss from behind the arc for Team USA, and another foul called on Mike Krzyzewski's team.
Now, one of the things Ricky Rubio did on that last possession, he went under the screen and dared Derrick Rose, about a 25% three-point shooter, to shoot it. So it's good that Team USA has gotten some open looks and are knocking down threes, but they cannot fall in love with the three-point shot.
This is Felipe Reyes at the free throw line. Nicknamed Fran is Espartaco, Spartacus.
Well, he is another one of those guys that NBA teams have taken a look at. NBA fans don't really know him, but he plays for Real Madrid, one of the great teams in Europe. He's coached by Ettore Messina, a friend to many American college coaches.
All right, this is Rubio coming up with the steal. Rubio in transition.
Rubio is an excellent defender because of the length and the IQ. Now, we know about his passing ability, but Ricky Rubio is an octopus out there.
As they say, it was last touched by Russell Westbrook. Rudy Gay checks in for the first time. He had a strong game against Lithuania. Back to your point about Rubio, the tools, the physical gifts that he has, one of the big reasons NBA scouts were so high on him.
Well, the big thing is he's a phenomenal passer. He's been compared in terms of his passing ability to Pistol Pete. He doesn't score like Pistol Pete, nor will he ever, but he's an outstanding passer. And this is a good passing team. And Marc Gasol is a guy, if you talk to NBA coaches and scouts, one of the strengths he has is how good a passer he is out of the low post. We saw it right there.
Reyes, the layup, cuts the lead back down to 7, and the vocal crowd getting into this. Gay tries the jumper, and he knocks it down.
Boy, that's a tough shot by Rudy Gay. Not much you can do with that one. He just elevated.
This is Gasol working on Chandler in the post, and they'll call a foul again on Chandler.
Well, Chandler wants to know what he did, but Marc Gasol is very crafty inside. Now, lot of people don't realize he's 7'1", 265. There's really nothing there. He kind of sold the call, but if you're Tyson Chandler, you got to get used to that. It's going to be very inconsistent officiating.
Marc Gasol finished up his second season as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies. 14.6 points, 9.3 rebounds per game this past season. Well, a reminder that the Global Community Cup continues live from Athens, Greece. Team USA versus Greece comes your way noon Eastern on ESPN on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, ESPN Classic has the broadcast of Team USA versus Croatia in the first game for Team USA in the 2010 FIBA World Championship live from Istanbul.
Yeah, you like the fact that Jerry Colangelo and Mike Krzyzewski taking on Greece and Spain on the road in these friendly matches are getting Team USA used to exactly what to expect when they go to Turkey in terms of the crowds.
Well, Russell Westbrook knocks down the jumper in front. He was very, very good yesterday.
Well, he probably turned that game around with his defense and also the fact that he knocked down 2 threes.
Stephen Curry in the game for the first time.
See, you can't make those faces. If you're Team USA, one of the things Team USA, Kevin, I don't mean to interrupt, but what they did such a great job of in 08 was they played through the officiating. Steph Curry's got to understand, and now he's got a technical foul on Coach K. You've got to understand FIBA officiating is going to be very uneven both ways.
Well, Curry was called for the personal foul for running through the screen, and hard to tell whether they called the technical on Curry for his reaction, as you pointed out, or whether it was on Coach K. But regardless, Reyes knocks down the first free throw attempt. We'll say now that the technical foul was called on the U.S. bench, so it may have been Krzyzewski, and the foul situation is heavily in favor of Spain in the early going.
But you have to play through it. You know, this is FIBA basketball, and again, the maturity of the team in 2006, 7, and 8, all those guys really went to school on how to play the FIBA game, and we saw yesterday how physical the Lithuania game was both ways. You've got to take the officiating out of the game, and you're not getting the calls that you get when you're playing in the NBA. And the quicker this young team understands that, the easier it'll be to play through this.
A little game of volleyball going on as it stays Spain basketball. Spain 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Team USA has yet to attempt a free throw.
You talk about FIBA basketball, that's a good look inside.
Gasol muscles it up, no, and it's Gordon who comes down with it.
But there are subtle nuances to this game. That's a good job there by Gordon. He drove right into the defender. Gasol stepped out on the screen and roll, and you got to know how you use your body. Watch this. This is good basketball by Gordon, good IQ basketball. And we've talked about Gordon being strong enough and quick enough to be able to get into the lane.
This is Westbrook. Good crossover, and Westbrook can't quite finish it. Does get a hand on the ball. It'll stay Spain possession, but a look at his explosiveness.
Here's a good example, and he almost gets Ricky Rubio. Rubio known to be a pickpocket. It's a good matchup. Rubio, who is property of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Look at that look. Look at that pass.
Gorgeous feed by Rubio, but it was Vasquez unable to finish. Here's Steph Curry, open look at a three, and it comes up short. This is a very short lineup on the floor for Team USA.
There's not much option, really, when you think of the situation they're in up front with the shallow front line. There you see Ricky Rubio, drafted 5th last year. He's only 19 years old. He'll turn 20 later on in the fall. One of the outstanding young players in Europe. They had a phenomenal year, FC Barcelona, in the Spanish league. Although they didn't win the title, they won the European Championship. Of course, Navarro, Rubio, a quality team.
His first free throw attempt for Team USA. To finish the point on Rubio, former Temple guard Pepe Sanchez called him a freak of nature. He said being so young and skilled and also so cool all the time.
Rubio's greatest strength is his mind, his passing ability, his defensive prowess. He is not what we'd call a great athlete, but he's got a great mind for the game. He's been around since he was 14 years old as a Spanish pro. And Kevin, let me make the point about, I mentioned FC Barcelona, one of the best teams in Europe. These Spanish players, Barcelona would be a lot closer to the Lakers than Duke, the national champions, would be to Barcelona. They would beat Duke by 30 or 40 on a given night, Barcelona. That's how good this level of Spanish play is.
And to your point, it's why many of the players on Spain stay in Spain rather than come to the U.S.
Well, they make great money in Spain. You got guys that are making the equivalent of $5 million a year.
There's Ewell giving, and the reverse layup attempt by Reyes is off the mark.
This is a very intriguing matchup, as we said earlier, because you don't know how much each coach wants to show. Back in the Olympics, the great Spanish coach Ayeto, they took a 37-point beating in the preliminary round of the Olympics, came back, and with under 2 minutes to go, it was a 2-point game in the gold medal game. So both coaches are trying to figure out how much to show, but also how they get a lot out of this game in terms of improvement.
This is Gay. Boy, all sorts of contact. Second effort, and it's put in by Russell Westbrook.
Boy, Russell Westbrook is making it very hard for Mike Krzyzewski to send him home. One player will be cut from this 13-man roster, and the rosters don't have to be in until next Thursday, 48 hours before the World Championships start.
Spain can hold for one. This is Rubio on a dribbling exhibition here.
That pass.
Good-looking feed, and it's Vasquez finishing.
Great example of Rubio in the pick and roll. Great mind for the game and a great finish at the rim.
Well, the folks in Minnesota are excited about what potentially can be. Rubio is, as you pointed out, Fran, the 5th overall pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves a season ago.
Let's see what they get with 2.5 on the clock.
Westbrook with the steal. Three-quarter court shot is no good. Well, a very, very strong opening quarter for Team USA, who struggled so mightily. They shoot 56% from the floor in the opening quarter, open up an early lead on Spain. Back inside La Caja Mágica in Madrid, Spain, the magic box they call it. Kevin Connors, Fran Fraschilla, and a strong opening 10 minutes for Team USA in this international friendly against Spain. Well, things were very different, Fran, back in 2002, the FIBA World Championship. This is the 5th place game, and Spain had their way on this day, a young Pau Gasol.
Well, exactly, and this was the tournament that the USA lost that 53-game winning streak with NBA players, finishing 6th in the World Championships. Juan Carlos Navarro was a 22-year-old on that team, and he dropped 26 that day on George Karl's team. And there you see some of the 7 losses Team USA has suffered, all coming since 2002. A great indication of how quickly the world caught up, in part because the dream team that came to Barcelona in 1992 had such a great effect on young players, not only in the NBA, in the United States, but around the world, Kevin.
Well, there's a terrific article in Sports Illustrated about Pau and Marc Gasol, and one of the things that stood out to me in that article was Pau talking about his affinity for Magic Johnson, and he got a chance to see Magic Johnson with the Dream Team up close and personal in those Barcelona Olympics.
And if you talk to Dirk Nowitzki or Pau and all the great young players in the NBA today that come from the international game, they'll credit that team in 1992 with creating the impetus for the improvement of international play.
And Fred, it's not a stretch to say that Team USA is not the favorite in this World Championship.
Well, I think they're certainly not the favorite, because teams like Spain and Greece have very talented players. Many of them you've never heard of, especially the Greek team. We found that out in 2006. Papaloukas, Diamantidis, Zizis, Spanoulis. But at the same time, they play so well together. We are adjusting to FIBA play. They don't have to adjust to the way we play. And there's another example of a traveling call. We saw it yesterday. Much more liberal in the NBA on the traveling call. You must put the ball down on the floor before your pivot foot lifts, and there's a good example. It's hard to do in that situation.
6th turnover by Team USA, and the jump hook by, that was not Vasquez, it was Reyes. So it's been a strong offensive start to this game for Reyes. He's got 8 points.
There's a good matchup now, Rose and Rubio. Let's see if Rose's athleticism can bother Rubio.
Here is Rubio working on Lamar Odom. Ricky Rubio.
Boy, he put Lamar Odom in jail by going to the backside of the rim. No way a shot blocker can get to that. But you see a little bit of the magic of what people in Europe have been used to seeing from the 19-year-old.
Here's Billups behind a screen. Too strong. That uses the window.
Well, you can see Spain's strategy. They're going under all screens, even with the shooters. But give Chauncey Billups credit. He banked it off the glass.
Are you suggesting the wily old veteran?
I'd say a little luck was involved, but that's okay.
They are trying to establish Reyes down low, and why not? He's off to a good start. Well, Team USA maintains a 6-point lead. We're just USA taking on a Spanish team, and one of the stars of Spain, Ricky Rubio. His nickname is La Pistola. He's drawn comparisons, Fran, to Pistol Pete Maravich.
Well, he's one of the best passers in the world. He's got an unbelievable IQ for the game. Still working on that outside shot, that set shot, but in terms of getting the ball to his teammates, he's about as good as you'll see, and he's only 19 years old. Probably will be at the NBA level when he's 21 a year from now. Interestingly, I think back to 2006 in the European Under-16 Championship against Russia. How about these numbers? 51 points, 24 rebounds, 12 assists, 7 steals. So there's a lot of hype to this young man, and a lot of it deserved.
Well, a lot of folks would say he was drafted 5th overall by Minnesota. Why not come to the NBA?
Well, part of the reason was he had a huge buyout from his original team, Juventud. And being picked 5th, it was going to cost him money to actually come over. NBA teams can only pay about $500,000 of the first $500,000 of a European player's buyout. His buyout was upwards of $1 million. So he's staying playing with the Barcelona team that's very good. When he comes over next year, if he comes, because remember there's a lockout looming, possibility that when he does come over, he'll still only be 21 years old.
Down to 7 on the shot clock. Rose. This is Billups. And Billups too strong. Team USA started this game on a 16-3 run, but Spain has pulled to within 6.
Well, Fran Vasquez out there right now, former lottery pick of the Magic.
Reyes again. He's had the hot hand, but Billups comes away with it. Here's Durant in the open floor. Kevin Durant slithering to the basket, but it's blocked by Vasquez.
Vasquez, a guy that has never really come to the United States, shown no interest, even though he was a lottery pick. I love Derrick Rose. We talked about him playing only 11 minutes yesterday. It was more likely because Coach K wanted to see other combinations, but he and Durant, to me, are the 2 most important players for Team USA.
Rose has 7 points as Ewell took the ball to the basket that time.
This is another guy, Sergio Ewell, NBA draft pick, playing for Real Madrid as Rubio departs. There's a guy that I guarantee you before this summer Chauncey Billups had never heard of, Sergio Ewell, but very well-known young guard in Europe.
3-point attempt from the corner, and it's Odom the rebound.
Well, I like the fact that Team USA has really defended the three-point line. Nice.
Good-looking feed. Billups to Odom for the chin-up.
Anytime you can get a guard that can exploit the paint, get a piece of the paint off the dribble, you're going to create some havoc for the defense.
That's San Emeterio feeding Ewell that time, but Spain really has struggled. You know, something interesting that Mike Krzyzewski said yesterday, Fran, he said, I noticed in warm-ups against Lithuania, we weren't ready to play. Certainly not the case today.
No, I think they, if anything, I think they expected really to blow by Lithuania. knowing that Spain and Greece were looming on the horizon. And it was a good wake-up call because the effort they gave in the first half yesterday would have been disastrous when they get to the elimination round. Remember, when they go to the World Championship, 16 of the 24 will advance to a one-and-done elimination round. You cannot have a bad quarter.
The sloppy play continues by Spain, and you can hear the wonderful sounds. It's one of the great things about international sports is the different sounds, the songs, the chants that you hear. And this was specifically designed by Mike Krzyzewski and Jerry Colangelo.
Yeah, we heard a little too much Black Eyed Peas yesterday, I thought. But no, you're right. You want, if they lose this game, it does not matter, Team USA. They are building towards Turkey. It's no longer a big deal to lose to a quality team like a Greece or an Argentina.
As Billups turns it over and Claver gives it right back.
Victor Claver, first-round pick of the Blazers back in 2009, a 6'10" small forward. But you have to love Team USA's effort on a defensive end so far, Kevin, because Coach K has said this is how they will hang their hat.
Good interior passing. Durant to Odom. It'll count. And a chance for a three-point play.
Excellent job, Kevin Durant. The more aggressive he is offensively as a scorer, the more the defense must react to him, and that will open up scoring opportunities for his teammates.
Team USA in the midst of a 9-0 run, and Spain wants a timeout. The U.S. leads by 12.
There you see the rankings. It's an 8-year cycle. Spain, Greece, of course, Argentina still at the top. They were the gold medalists in 2004. You know, you think back to when Greece knocked off Team USA in 2006 in that semifinal game. They were really on a roll. When they played Spain, Gasol was hurt against Argentina. Paul Gasol in the semifinals. He did not play in the gold medal game. Spain was still able to knock off Greece. This is a very deep Spanish team.
Claver cuts the lead down to 11. Stephen Curry seeing some time at the point here. He feeds Eric Gordon. Those two may well be competing for the last spot on Mike Krzyzewski's team.
No, you're exactly right. Steph Curry was day-to-day earlier this week because of an ankle sprain.
Last touched by Tyson Chandler. This is Navarro, down to 6 on the shot clock. He flings it up, and Navarro getting creative.
He's got maybe the best floater you'll ever see. And that was about a 21-foot floater. Little confusion off the pick and roll. Chandler didn't stay out there. Created just enough space for Navarro. Don't leave him open.
Steph Curry knocks it down. Fred, I wonder, is it a floater from 21 feet or a prayer? As Gasol, and no one gets back defensively for Team USA, and Marc Gasol takes advantage.
You know, to answer your question, I would normally say with most players a prayer, but that's really Navarro's bread and butter. Now, you go back to the gold medal game in 2008 when Calderon did not play. Navarro really picked them up. That's his game right there.
Now coverage of the FIBA World Championship continues on ESPN Saturday and Sunday with 2 preliminary round games. First on ESPN Classic Saturday at noon Eastern, Team USA faces Croatia. And then on ESPN2 Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, USA faces Slovenia. You can also watch the 2010 FIBA World Championship on ESPN3.com.
Now, it's a pretty physical brand of basketball, wouldn't you say? FIBA basketball. We had a fight earlier in the week in a game between Greece and Serbia. And this has got a very interesting backstory. You see in the blue, that's Teodosic. Now it's a scrum. This is what we call a friendly match, an exhibition match in Athens. The interesting thing in the backstory here, as Nenad Kristic from the Thunder throws a chair, is that a lot of those players in that game played against each other in the Greek Pro A1 League, Olympiakos, Panathinaikos. It's so heated they had to cancel the Greek finals this year. It would be the equivalent of the Celtics and Lakers canceling Game 7. And a lot of those guys involved in that fight were guys that competed against each other during the Greek season. There should be some suspensions coming down from FIBA prior to the World Championships. I'd be very surprised if they're not.
That rivalry between those two teams, I asked you to equate it to something we would know here in the States. I said, is it like Yankees and Red Sox? And you said?
About 4 or 5 times worse, because the fans are, it's over the top. It makes Yankees and Red Sox look like a CYO game.
How about that? Team USA holding on to a 9-point lead here as we near the 2-minute mark of the second quarter. And when you consider that the U.S. scored 28 points in the entire first half yesterday, this is yards and yards ahead of where Mike Krzyzewski's team was versus Lithuania.
And on the other hand, they can't relax now, because a team like Spain, a lot of experience, have come from behind many times. Even though this is an exhibition match, a couple threes and they're right back in it. But so far, Team USA's defense has been outstanding in the half court. See how they'll go under the screen.
Here's Curry. Good-looking feed, and Tyson Chandler rocks the rim.
That was all set up by Steph Curry's ability to drive. Now you say, what are they saving? One of the things I mentioned earlier, coaches will save things for when it gets serious in the World Championships, Kevin. And it might be 2 or 3 different pick-and-roll looks that they won't use today that you may see them use a week or 2 from now. And also, as I said earlier, I don't think Spain will play any zone today. Don't think they'll give that up.
I think that's a concept that's foreign to a lot of American fans watching this game. The outcome of the game, you say, is it's not that big a deal to either one of these teams at this point.
I think that's one of the things Coach K has learned. And one thing this team has done really well, oh boy, I'll tell you, don't get me started on missed dunks right now.
We've seen that on several occasions.
The coach is coming out of me. That's just a bad play.
Russell Westbrook misfiring as Chandler bats it away. You can do that in international.
I love it. That's going to school on the rule.
Here's Derrick Rose. Rose the reverse. No, Chandler trying again. Things getting physical, and Kevin Durant muscles it in.
Well, that play was set up by the strength and quickness of Derrick Rose. We talked about what a prototypical FIBA guard is, and Derrick Rose would fairly much fit that mold because of his ability and strength to get into the lane. There's another missed dunk, but Kevin Durant knows what to do with the ball.
You got rather worked up on that Russell Westbrook missed.
Well, you know what? I've seen it so much in international play. The missed connections on the lobs, the missed dunks. Just get 2 points. That's what a coach thinks.
There's an open look by Navarro, and it's Gay who comes down with it. He's stripped from behind by Rudy Fernandez.
There's Navarro. We talked about that ability to drive, that he wanted to shoot the floater, was able to get to the rim.
Navarro's got 10 points. Navarro and Vasquez and Reyes keeping Spain in this game.
You know, I think what Team USA tried to do right there was go 2 for 1, and it wound up that Russell Westbrook took a tough shot. I was with Doc Rivers at a clinic recently, and he asked all the college coaches at the clinic, why won't you shoot the 2 for 1 shot? Shoot it like about 30 on the clock so you get the second possession back. And I tried to explain to Doc Rivers that if you shoot a bad shot on a 2 for 1 situation, your athletic director and your boosters are going to think you can't coach. And that's why you don't see that done in college basketball as often.
You mentioned the name Doc Rivers, and you floated an interesting idea with regards to Team USA.
I think in 2016, he'd be a great Olympic coach. He knows how to coach great players. He's been a player. Got to have the right temperament to coach these guys. And Coach K's, he has that.
Well, Gasol had an open look, and now the U.S. can hold for 1. Down to 5 seconds on the game clock. Here's Rose. Free throw line jumper, no. And Durant to beat the buzzer, no. Well, all things considered for Coach K and Team USA, a solid first 20 minutes of basketball. A 12-point lead for the U.S. as they head into the halftime locker room. Good shooting in the first half for Team USA. Kevin Durant and company out to a 12.
And unlike the game against Lithuania on Saturday, it seemed like Team USA was much more focused on the offensive end here in the first half today.
Well, they made shots, and that was important. They got some open looks. Of course, Chauncey Billups not really wanting to bank that shot in, but they were very successful in terms of getting the ball inside. Kevin Durant is such a focal point of team defenses that he's going to draw a couple white shirts. Lamar Odom finishes 50% for Team USA in the first half. And then the strength of Derrick Rose getting all the way to the rim, and Kevin Durant, as he does so well, cleaning up the garbage for Team USA.
Seemed in a lot of ways, Fran, that Mike Krzyzewski's team learned from the physicality against Lithuania.
No, I think that's true, and I think it's important that they understand this is a more physical brand of basketball than they see in the NBA, and that they have to play through the contact.
Spain got a good first half from Juan Carlos Navarro, as we expected. What do you expect to see from Spain here in the second half?
Well, I don't think they were crisp in terms of running their half-court offense. Sergio Scariolo, the Spanish national coach, he's been in Spain for 13 years. He's an Italian coach who has made most of his career in Spain. Very good set play guy right here. So I would expect Spain to come out, run something to get an open look, maybe for Navarro. Rudy Fernandez has not scored yet. Maybe something to get Rudy going. But interestingly, Ricky Rubio starting the second half for Spain.
Felipe Reyes had a terrific first half for Spain. I want to apologize. We're having issues with the clock, so we may or may not have that here in the second half. And there it is, Fran, to start the set play.
Well, it's good. You want to get this guy going. Good screen by Gasol. Rudy Fernandez can light it up when he gets going. But good execution to start the half.
Well, and there's execution on the offensive end for Team USA, and a continuing theme here, Fran. Kevin Durant looking for his shot.
It has to be that way. When they play important games in the FIBA World Championships, Kevin Durant has going to handle the bulk of the scoring load for Team USA.
Terrific atmosphere in Madrid as the second half gets off with a flourish, and there is Reyes, who has impressed.
Well, he's got 10 points, and he's a guy that's known to be a physical banger, but he's got 15-foot range. He was injured for much of the Real Madrid season this year.
Good look from Rose down low, but it's Odom who turns it over.
Now, Rubio very crafty with the basketball. They'll get open looks if he's on his game.
Well, Reyes may have gotten away with a travel instead. Odom the long outlet pass, and USA turns it right back over. US in much more of a rhythm, the last possession notwithstanding in this game, as opposed to how they were against Lithuania.
Watch how patient Navarro is. He understands the game. Good mismatch inside.
And Reyes is fouled on the layup attempt. Good high-low play by the Spanish big men as we near the 8:15 mark of the third quarter.
Well, Juan Carlos Navarro had the ball in his hands. He recognized Billups and the mismatch inside on Reyes, and a good, as you mentioned, high-low pass from a guy who has a great reputation in the NBA for being a good passer, and that's Marc Gasol.
Felipe Reyes, a member of the Spanish national teams that won gold at the '06 World Championship and a silver medal at the Beijing Olympics.
He's one of those guys that could make any NBA roster, but has chosen instead, rather than to be a role player, to be a very effective player in the Spanish ACB league, the second best professional league in the world.
This is Derrick Rose, the crossover, and a good-looking move over the big Marc Gasol.
Well, we've said it time and time again, Kevin, and we'll say it throughout the World Championships. His strength and quickness, and here you see the quick hands by Rose, is really going to be effective for Team USA.
He's up to 9 points. Here's Rubio calling his own number, and Ricky Rubio knocks down the three.
Well, Rubio only had 2 points in the first half, and he's definitely a passer first. But he has really worked on that set shot three. It's something that's going to really open his driving game up.
Under the 8-minute mark here in the third quarter, Ricky Rubio still just 19 years old. Property of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's Durant trying to go one-on-one on Gasol. Second effort by Odom, no.
Well, that's one of those plays in the NBA. Kevin Durant will usually shoot 2 free throws, but Marc Gasol did a good job of putting his hands to the ceiling and Kevin Durant invited the contact but didn't get the call.
Now the turnover off the inbound play by the U.S. Here's Rubio in the open court. Good-looking feed and a layup by Felipe Reyes.
Well, that's what Ricky Rubio does. Outstanding court vision. It's a simple pass, but it was a perfect feed to Reyes. He's got 14 points early in this third quarter, Kevin.
We talked so much about the 9 Spanish players with NBA ties. Reyes is not one, and yet he's the leading scorer for Spain. Here's Durant forcing the issue, and he draws a foul.
But I love that. You know, Kevin Durant can get you to garbage. He can knock down the three. But this time, we talked about inviting contact. Watch how he takes the ball right at Reyes. Make sure the referee has to make a call, and he'll shoot a couple free throws, and then a good look at the other end by Ricky Rubio.
Reyes, the beneficiary. Well, so much has been made about Kevin Durant, and obviously so. I mean, in the MVP discussion this past season, led the NBA in scoring, Fran. And yet, you struggle to remember that this is still his first real international competition.
You're exactly right. You know, he's been a part of Team USA as a scout team player in the past. Disappointed he didn't make the 08 Olympics, but he's ready to take on the challenge of being Team USA's go-to guy.
Marc Gasol, he misses the chippy, but the second effort draws the foul on Odom. Spanish big men pass the basketball very, very well, Frank.
Well, you know what's interesting? I'm glad you said that, because I'm a big believer in the United States right now at the youth level, high school, summer basketball. Put the 24-second clock in, because the more possessions you have in a game, especially where big players have to make decisions, it will really improve the level of play in the United States. There's not better coaching in Europe. There's not better players, but they understand the shot clock so well, and you have to make good, smart decisions with that shot clock. Good example right there of how the big men can pass the ball.
We want to remind you that we are experiencing issues with the game clock. We're at the 6:46 mark of the third quarter, and we do apologize. We're hoping to get those problems ironed out. Gasol knocks down the second free throw. He's been slowed by a back injury this summer. He missed the tune-up against Brazil. And you can expect that the Spanish big man will be in the fold when the FIBA World Championship begins next Saturday. Here's Durant, another three, and he's up to 17.
Boy, great look by Andre Iguodala. We call him the Swiss Army knife of Team USA because he does so many things well. He averaged 5 assists in his career with the Sixers, and a good example right there.
This is Rudy Fernandez now feeding Gasol. Watched by Tyson Chandler. A lot of contact and a good-looking jump hook by Gasol.
Well, he was quiet in the first half, but Marc Gasol has an array of weapons inside. Remember, Kevin, he's 7'1", 265 pounds.
He sheds so much weight. He's a very different-looking player than Pau Gasol as Durant misfires on the three, and it'll be Spain's possession. How about from what they do on the floor, Fran, the differences between Pau and Marc Gasol?
Well, Pau is more of a finesse player. In fact, at times he plays power forward in the triangle offense because of Andrew Bynum. Marc, as you mentioned, he weighed 330 pounds when he was in high school in Memphis. He has shed his weight, but he's still a more physical player than his older brother.
And there's another Gasol waiting in the wings, isn't that right?
No, there is. He's a junior at Ruzan Collegiate School in Germantown, Tennessee. It's kind of interesting that his mom and dad, the Gasols, still live in the Memphis area, but Rudy Fernandez, a guy that known for the three-point shooting, gets himself to the line, or at least a foul.
5 minutes, 32 seconds to go here in the third quarter as Chauncey Billups checks out, Russell Westbrook checks in. We have not seen Rajon Rondo in this game yet.
Oh, smart play. You know, that was a great pass by Ricky Rubio. He went cross-court versus the zone. And a little head fake by Fernandez, and he's going to shoot three.
Now, Rudy Fernandez is second-team all-rookie selection in 2009. But his productivity dipped a season ago, and we've talked about it somewhat, Fran. That's part of the reason why Fernandez has had some issues with the Blazers this summer.
Well, he's on the trading block, and he's unhappy. He wants to come back to Spain. You don't know if that's posturing or not, but he's playing behind a guy like Brandon Roy. He had to share time with Martell Webster a year ago, Jared Bayless. So Rudy's got to defend better. He's got to defend NBA shooting guards better, and he's got to have a better idea of shot selection. But there are teams that are interested in making the trade for him.
He's an exciting player, participated in the 2009 Slam Dunk Contest. In fact, he paid tribute to late Blazer Fernando Martin by wearing his jersey.
Absolutely. The first Spanish player to play in the NBA, the late Fernando Martin, killed in an auto accident in 1989, but held in reverence. How about those long arms by Rubio?
Yeah, Rubio picks the pocket of Derrick Rose.
Rubio's like a Venus flytrap in terms of his ability to make those plays.
Navarro the floater, and it's a two-point game. Spain in the midst of a 20-10 run.
I've seen him make that shot about 1,000 times. Juan Carlos Navarro with the floater.
Things getting chippy in Madrid. More after this.
Now I'm watching Josh Hamilton have an MVP season for those Texas Rangers. First place in the American League West.
He's making a case for MVP. We take a look now at our State Farm Good Neighbor assist of the game, and it's courtesy of La Pistola.
Now you got to keep in mind, this young man's 19 years old, number 5 pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, 2009 NBA draft. Outstanding passer in my mind. One of the best 2 or 3 passers, Kevin, in the entire basketball world right now.
Well, it was interesting. Chauncey Billups was asked about Ricky Rubio. Billups said, "I've never seen him play." And then he was reminded that Rubio played against the U.S. in the 2008 Olympic gold medal game, and Billups said, "I didn't see it."
Yeah, I remember that. Remember, he played a lot in that game because Jose Calderon missed that gold medal game with an injury. So Rubio, a very important part of that Spanish team. In fact, it's interesting, he's already played he's played 37 international games, and he's only 19 years old. Tells you what a career he has ahead of him.
As Mike Krzyzewski talks to Team USA, Fran, how about the fact that Ricky Rubio, by virtue of playing in Spain, playing with his Spanish professional league team, and many of the guys on the Spanish team who do play in that Spanish league, the number of big games that they play in compared to perhaps a regular 82-game NBA season?
Well, it's a great point. If you take Barcelona, one of the best teams in Europe, they play in the Spanish ACB League. That's their national league. They also play in the Euro League with some of the best teams from around Europe. Plus, they play in a couple different tournaments. And you see the little jawing going on. It tells you the importance of this game. But they play so many big games throughout the course of the season that Ricky Rubio has already been tested by fire.
Now things getting testy here in Madrid. Again, this is an exhibition game. Both teams tuning up for the 2010 FIBA World Championship as we take a look at what may or may not have. Yeah, there you go, Marc Gasol and Tyson Chandler exchanging pleasantries.
I think that's a little bit of gamesmanship. So many of these guys are good friends because of the course of the NBA season. You see Rudy Fernandez and Kevin Durant with a little chuckle. This is a good test for Team USA, giving away the 12-point lead. Remember, we've talked about, can they be good in half-court execution? This will be good to see how they react to that Spanish run.
Crowd is into it.
Man.
It's Russell Westbrook, an aggressive drive and strong finish.
Boy, Spain has opened up the middle of the lane a number of times today, and Rose and Westbrook particularly have been able to exploit that.
Westbrook, the player of the game against Lithuania. He is going to really make Mike Krzyzewski's decision on which players to keep on this team a difficult one.
That's a great point. As you see another drive. You know, that time Derrick Rose gets out of control, but to amplify on your point, 13 players still on Team USA's roster, and you'll see Rudy Fernandez stepping in. Derrick Rose didn't like that call, but Coach K has until Thursday, 2 days before the beginning of the FIBA World Championships to make that decision.
Fernandez stepping in and taking the charge, and so again a chance for Spain to cut this lead down to 2 points. Spain shot the ball so poorly in the first half, but they have really clawed their way back into this game here in the second half.
Well, that's pretty good ball movement.
Gasol, a lot of contact, and they'll call the foul on Tyson Chandler. He doesn't like that call.
Well, you like the way Gasol initiated the contact. We talk about that. Good offensive players take the ball to the defense. And watch the left arm right there of Tyson Chandler reaching in, knocking it away. And a big part of FIBA basketball, Kevin, is trying to, because there's only 5 team fouls per quarter. The 5th foul is the bonus. The quicker you can get your opponent to that 5th foul, the quicker you're going to get to the foul line.
And Spain in the bonus here. 4 minutes and 12 seconds still to play in the third quarter. Marc Gasol to the free throw line, member of the NBA All-Rookie second team in 2009.
It tells you something about Marc Gasol, that in only his second year at the Grizzlies, he's already been named a team captain. Great locker room guy. I talked to a number of Grizzly personnel and coaches, and this guy is on his way to being one of the best centers in the NBA. Probably right now one of the top 8 centers, pure low post guys.
Gasol 1 of 2. Now Steph Curry into the game for Team USA, and we also see Fran Vasquez check in. He plays professionally in Spain with Barcelona. Once upon a time, the 11th pick of the Orlando Magic back in the 2005 draft. He decided to stay in Spain rather than team with Dwight Howard, and it was not a popular decision in Orlando. Here's Durant, the turnaround, uses the window, but he's fouled on the attempt by Fernandez.
Well, he had a mismatch there with Rudy Fernandez, a size mismatch, and a good job here setting up the post up for Durant. And that's what makes Kevin Durant such a great scorer, the ability to shoot it from deep, get to the basket, get some garbage points, and also post you up.
As Durant's up to 18 points now. How about what they have going at Oklahoma City? Jeff Green was a part of this Team USA. He was one of the cuts before they departed for Madrid. And also Russell Westbrook, and they also re-up with their general manager, Sam Presti.
Well, they also have an outstanding young big guy in Serge Ibaka from the Congo, who actually started his professional career in Spain. He's only, I believe he's only 20, 21 years old right now.
This is Rubio, open from the corner. And the long arms of Kevin Durant snatched that one away.
No, that's good hustle by Durant.
Bodies on the floor here as Odom gives to Westbrook, and they'll reset. Curry behind a screen, turns it over, and Spain has numbers if they want them. Here's Fernandez.
See, when you don't have the fast break of your Team USA right now, can you run some offense? That's a good matchup right there, Rubio and, oh, shake and bake.
Crossover by Curry and the floater.
Rubio with those long arms was looking for the pick. But a little sleight of hand by Stephen Curry.
Stephen Curry upping the lead back to 7. Exciting action in the third quarter after this.
Joe and Mike Krzyzewski are doing, playing Spain and Greece before the opening round of the World Championships, not afraid of taking on 2 of the 4 best teams in the entire field.
Here's Rubio, he's stripped by Curry. Curry in transition, and the reverse layup for Stephen Curry. That's 4 straight points.
How about that? Those are 2 guys that'll match up probably for the next 10, 12 years at some level, NBA, internationally.
Kevin Love said of all the players on Team USA, he has impressed me most. He's speaking of Stephen Curry. Here's Vasquez. Tough finish over Odom.
Well, terrific job in a pick and roll. Navarro, such a threat to score that you have to step up and honor him, and that freed Vasquez on the roll.
And a turnover by Curry. It's Navarro.
Oh, nice!
Gives to Vasquez, who finishes.
Well, Juan Carlos Navarro, he is royalty when it comes to European basketball. Maybe the best player in Europe over the last decade.
Curry tries a three, and Spain will look to push again. Rubio. Navarro. And Durant snares the rebound, and the foul called on Vasquez. How about the players Fran Fraschilla taken after Fran Vasquez in the 2005 draft? Among them, Linus Kleza, who we saw from Lithuania.
Yep.
Danny Granger and David Lee.
Whoops. That's what I would say. You know, it was kind of interesting. I remember when he was drafted, and of course, I have a lot of Spanish friends coaching in the basketball world there. A lot of people that I talked to prior to that draft did not think Fran Vasquez would come over. And it was a situation in my mind of the Orlando Magic just not doing their homework.
Well, why not come over?
Well, he's one of those guys that's very comfortable in his environment. We've seen this now. Sergio Rodriguez came over. Rudy Fernandez is struggling right now. Not every player, we saw the mistakes made drafting Skidishvili, Milicic, and not every international player is comfortable in the NBA game.
Derrick Rose sees it rim out. This is Gay on the drive, and he's fouled on the attempt.
Well, I like that from Rudy Gay. Oftentimes he'll settle for the contested shot, but I like the idea as a mobile power forward in this system. Remember, he's a small forward for the Grizzlies. He's got that ability to beat bigger guys off the dribble.
1:05 to go in the third quarter. Team USA a 5-point advantage. Make it 6. I thought Rudy Gay had the most honest quote of the offseason after he re-upped with the Grizz. 5 years, $84 million. He said, I was really surprised. When I found out, I was like, wow.
You know, he was on his way to Minnesota to visit with the Timberwolves. They called him, the Grizzlies, and said, we got the deal for you. Turned around and drove back from the airport.
It's a smart decision.
I think so.
Straight on three, no, but the rebound controlled by Garbajosa.
Garbajosa has played over 150 games for Spain. Whoops.
Garbajosa may have gotten away with one. Comes up short, and the U.S. will push.
Oh, that's nice.
Good-looking feed. Westbrook gives it off, and Kevin Durant in transition.
Well, the catalyst there, Kevin, was Derrick Rose. A great explosion. You love point guards that look ahead. He gave that ball up.
21 now for Durant, and Team USA has had a lot of success in the open court.
Now, Derrick Rose only played 11 minutes yesterday. Coach K wanted to give some other people a chance, and he's been a big factor today.
U.S. will look to push again. Gay, Odom, layup is good, and Team USA running the break.
You love the way they kept their poise when Spain made that run at the early part of the quarter.
Mike Krzyzewski and Team USA answering the bell. An 11-point lead after 3. Welcome back to the Global Community Cup presented by Nike. Team USA, after seeing their 12-point halftime lead cut to 2, pushes it back up to 11 with 3 quarters in the books. Well, this is the rematch of the 2008 Olympic gold medal game. Pau Gasol, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant all played in that game, not playing in this game. But it was a game where Team USA won gold, but a game much closer maybe than a lot of people thought they might see.
Well, it ended up 118-107. It was a 4-point game with under 2 minutes. And it was a game that followed a 37-point thrashing by Team USA over Spain in the preliminary round.
This is the groupings for the World Championship. Team USA comfortably in Group B. And there is one game, Fran, that you have circled on your calendar as a big one.
Oh, that's right. August 31st in Ankara. It'll be Greece and Turkey, 2 arch rivals. And the reason it's such a big game, Greece will be favored. But with Turkey at home, if they're able to win their group, upset Greece, it's possible that Team USA could meet Greece in the quarterfinals, which would be really early for 2 quality teams like that.
You know, Fran, this is the 15th World Championship tournament that Team USA will be participating in. They've won just 3 gold medals. With all the international success the U.S. has had, why such a low number?
Well, you remember until 1994, we used collegians. And in 1990, our collegians, coached by Mike Krzyzewski, that's a nice look right there, played against Yugoslavia is the ultimate champion with Vlade Divac, Toni Kukoc, and the great late Drazen Petrovic. So we started using our NBA players in 1994, and we still struggled.
Well, how about Sergio Yul after the ball got stuck on the back of the iron trying to bat the backboard there. They'll call a foul on the drive. Spain shot 61% from the floor in the third quarter.
That's not really good news because they only cut 1 point off the lead, primarily because they were not effective defensively. How about that? You don't see that happen very often.
And Fran, even in international rules, you cannot bang the backboard and get the benefit of the call there. Yule to the free throw line. He was drafted by the Denver Nuggets in 2009, 34th overall pick. Rockets bought his rights from Denver for $2.25 million, the most expensive player ever purchased during the second round.
And he's only 22 years old. He plays for the great Ettore Messina at Real Madrid. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the league probably the next couple years. Combo guard who can really shoot it.
That a poor sequence for Rudy Gay, way off the mark, and then he commits the foul.
It's really important. You'll see, we got a guy sweeping the floor. Excuse me? I've heard of wiping the floor with your opponent, but that's taking it a little too far, Kev.
Well, this is anything but. It's an 11-point game, but Spain has made this a game. And, of course, this partisan crowd in Madrid.
You get a chance to see what Fran Vasquez can do. Stretching the defense, the 7-footer.
Knocks down the 17-footer. That's Odom, and he's called for the traveling violation. And we've seen that several times, Fran. The U.S. players wondering why traveling violations are called.
You know, it's interesting. Part of it is you can't. The ball's got to leave your hand before you lift your pivot foot up. But the other thing is, I'm going to be honest. FIBA officials probably are not used to this much quickness either. And so they've got to adjust. But I think if you're Team USA, you've got to expect 1 or 2 of those traveling calls every game from here on out.
Basket and a foul on the continuation. Chauncey Billups, the guilty party.
Not a surprise. Yule's got pretty good quickness, and Billups, while he's an old hand and a veteran of 13 years, doesn't guard the ball quite the way maybe he did. And it's an area that you can exploit if you've got somebody with Yule's quickness.
8:48 to go in the fourth quarter. You know, you can understand why there's some frustration on the part of Team USA. They do let you get away with the arm bar, the push off, the hand check, but then sometimes fouls are called differently.
It's inconsistent, and you have to adjust the FIBA play, and the big thing is you have to play through the inconsistency because that's FIBA basketball. A lot of these officials, when they get to Turkey this coming week, you might have officials from countries you've never heard of. And they may not understand the rules quite as well as even the players do, but you got to play through that.
Here's Billups. Tough shot. Banks it home, does Chauncey Billups.
Again, because of the strength and his ability to create shots, a nice use of the window.
That's 10 points for the veteran Chauncey Billups. Off the drive, It's Garbajosa.
Very crafty player, Garbajosa. Until he was hurt playing for the Toronto Raptors, he was actually an effective NBA player. Gruesome injury in Boston in March of, I think it was 2008.
That was December of 2000. No, you're right, March of 2007. He suffered a broken fibula, displaced ankle, ligament damage. He missed the rest of the season. He'd won Rookie of the Month in December of 2006. He did not play in the NBA again. His contract was bought out after he was named to the 2008 Olympic team. And he's now playing professionally for Real Madrid as Lamar Odom works his way to the free throw line.
Lamar Odom's been very active today. Really helped Team USA get off to a good first half start. Kind of fits in with what we talked about with this Team USA team. Versatility at the forward spot, can play multiple positions.
Odom's up to 10 points. 7 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. We apologize for the clock issues that we're having here. We're keeping it here at the desk. Vasquez the rebound. This is Mumbrou in the corner.
Uh-oh.
Spain getting away with one.
Well, I think Rose just shot that passing lane too quickly. He was thinking layup all the way.
2 on the shot clock, down to 1. Garbajosa just does get it off, and it's a 24-second violation.
You know, we talk about offensive patience, but if you're Team USA and you're playing Greece and Argentina and Spain coming up in the next couple weeks, you must have defensive patience. You must guard the entire clock.
Durant the open look. Odom tries to save it. He does, but into the arms of Big Fran Vasquez.
You mentioned earlier, Kevin, Spain with 9 players who've either had NBA experience or may possibly have NBA experience. We expect Ricky Rubio at some point to play for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a very veteran, talented team.
As you see Rubio right there.
Can you imagine that he was 14 years old when he played his first professional game?
I mean, it's staggering when you think about it. You think about how young Kevin Durant is, 21 years old. We say that's young. Rubio was 14 when he first played professionally. Garbajosa, corner 3 is good.
Textbook basketball by Spain. Little curl screen, a throwback to Garbajosa in the corner.
Well, they call it a 2-pointer, so the lead remains 6. Here's Billups working on Navarro. Odom the offensive rebound. They'll stay right here. And actually call the foul on Odom, say maybe a little push in the back.
There's the tough shot. And if there was contact, it was early because it's like you said earlier. I mean, you can get 2 to 5 in Chicago for some of the stuff that FIBA officials let you get away with, and then you see a touch foul, and that's called.
Crowd getting into it here inside the Magic box.
I remember taking my college team, Manhattan College, to Spain. Oh, there's that strength. And all I knew was falta. That meant foul. That's all I yelled for 6 games.
Now a turnover by Team USA to the chagrin of Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim. Team USA a 6-point lead. Back on the Global Community Cup presented by Nike. Team USA a 6-point lead over Spain as we near the 6-minute mark of the 4th quarter. We talked about some of the differences between the NBA game and the FIBA rules. Fran Fraschilla, why don't you explain them?
Well, shorter game, 40 minutes as opposed to 48. The court's a little smaller, obviously the 3-point line. And then the foul limit. Players are only allowed 5 personal fouls in FIBA, much like college. And one interesting point, Kevin, FIBA and the NBA are trying to make these rules grow closer together. October 1st, FIBA will do away with the trapezoid lane. They'll increase the 3-point line. They'll put the semicircle down on the court for the block charge rule. And now in FIBA, in the last 2 minutes, when you take a timeout in the full court, you can advance it all the way to the top of the key. So they're trying to bring the 2 games together, and I think that's healthy. As I mentioned earlier, I would love to see a 24-second shot clock, FIBA style, at all levels of American basketball.
And keep it uniform. You wrote a column on ESPN.com about that.
I did.
Well, Spain has made this a game after trailing by 12. They're in the midst of a 10-3 run right now.
Another good lesson for Team USA. Really the first true road game they've had during the exhibition series here. So important for Coach K to see if they can build some continuity down the stretch, keep their poise. Talked about it being a young team, and you cannot react to the officiating.
Well-attended game here. Several luminaries. Pau Gasol is here. Cristiano Ronaldo, the great Spanish soccer star.
Portuguese, but playing in the Spanish league.
Well, very nicely correcting me. Thank you, Fran. Here's Rubio, and they'll say no before the
There you go.
Layup attempt, they'll call a traveling violation.
It goes both ways. Even Ricky Rubio a little incredulous there.
The soccer audience will take umbrage to my getting Cristiano Ronaldo wrong. I don't know how you knew that.
Tommy Smith will take that up with you at a later date.
Yes.
Our ESPN soccer guru.
They call a foul on Garbajosa that time. A little bit of a hip check.
You know what you like about Kevin Durant? You can see him getting more used to. Now, believe me, he gets beat up during the NBA season. Just ask Ronnie Artest. But he's getting used to the fact that he's going to feel contact on every drive. And that's the adjustment he's going to have to make over the next 2 weeks.
Here's Billups. Iguodala a three. And it's Marc Gasol who gobbles that up.
That was reasonably good offense by Team USA. The penetration off the pick and roll. Oh, he loves that move, that spin move.
Jump hook over.
Yes, sir. Tell you what, Marc Gasol loves that baseline spin. It was a good job of cutting him off by Odom, and he came back to that jump hook.
Madrid crowd really getting into it as we near the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Durant, the step back.
Yep. He's got that step back move, and at 6'10", all he needs is a little bit of separation.
Durant is up to 23 points. Gorgeous feed by Navarro, and Gasol the beneficiary.
Well, the back screen set. Lamar Odom's got to help Kevin Durant through that screen. And he got hung up on that screen. A good find. Boy, this is fun.
Iguodala to Odom down low, and the pace and passing is picked up.
Hey, how good an all-around player is Andre Iguodala, showing that he's been since training camp. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in his career. His passing really impresses me.
And Coach K loves the defense he brings to the table as Navarro is fouled on the drive.
That time Navarro got the step on Iguodala. Navarro very crafty. Take a look. Iguodala could never really get back in front. And Navarro again initiating the contact. Well, you think of Juan Carlos Navarro. He's been a professional 13 years, since the age of 17. 1 year with the Grizzlies, 12 with Barcelona. He is a staple of one of the great programs in Europe. Number of European titles, 2 of them. Spanish titles, Spanish Cup champions, MVPs.
One of the golden generation boys of Spain, along with Pau Gasol and former Jazz guard Raul Lopez. He was the MVP of the Under-19 World Championship team that beat Team USA back in 1999. This is Durant looking for his shot. And Spain a chance to make this a one-possession game. Sloppy passing, and Iguodala will look to push.
Oh, nice.
Durant. No, Iguodala the second effort.
Boy, how about Andre Iguodala? You can start to see Kevin Durant, Derrick Rose, Iguodala. You're starting to see guys that Coach K can build a team around. And he's only got about 5 more days to do it. Maybe, obviously, a week to do it. He's got 7 days until they start on Saturday. That's been the tricky thing for Coach K, Kevin. So hard to really create continuity and chemistry in such a short window with such an inexperienced team.
Foul called on Tyson Chandler, 3 minutes, 25 seconds to play. How so, friend? Well, I mean, what's the biggest challenge Coach K faces?
It's just time. I mean, you know, when you look at some of these teams that have been together for a few years, you get to know each other. You know where guys want the ball. You define roles, who your scorers are, who your defenders are, who your passers are, who your screeners are. And that takes time, especially with a group of guys that are the best players on their own teams and some of the best players in the NBA. I mentioned earlier that the Olympic team was together for parts of 3 whole seasons, starting in 2006, and they went through some struggles too, as evidenced by the loss to Greece.
Marc Gasol up to 17 points now as Spain has yet again cut this lead down to 4. Iguodala open 3, way off.
Well, that's a shot he could have got later in the shot clock. Didn't need to take it right there.
Rubio cuts it to 2.
Excellent job off the pick and roll. No step-up help by USA. Rubio knocks it down. Kevin, that's 2 straight possessions where Team USA did not run crisp offense.
The crowd telling the story here. Under 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play from Madrid. Spain looking to tie the game for the first time since the opening tip. Navarro does!
That's a layup for him. 2 straight possessions. No help on the pick and roll.
What an environment here in Madrid. Billups driving.
Now, Billups looking back at the official and wanting a call, but this isn't Denver. This is a different game.
Oh, the layup attempt by Navarro. No, it's last touched by Team USA. But so much for this being an exhibition. So much for this being a friendly. Try telling that to the fans inside La Caja Mágica.
Oh, man. You know, we've seen both coaches hold some things back so far. In my mind, Spain's only used 2 pick-and-roll defenses, no zone. Team USA only zoning off the inbounds, not running a lot of pick-and-roll plays. I saw them put in Las Vegas. So they're trying to win this game, but they still know they're going to meet likely a second time. You see Team USA in the zone. They show zone, now they go man.
We near the 2-minute mark in just under 2 minutes. Rubio gives, layup is good, and Spain takes its first lead of the game on a Felipe Reyes layup.
In order to be a good pick and roll team, you have to have a guard with patience to let plays develop, and that's what happened right there.
Durant
oh
driving.
My goodness!
Kevin Durant, reigning NBA scoring champion, to the hard way.
That was a claw hook.
He's up to 25. That stops an 8-0 Spain run. Rubio behind the back.
Wow, that's not advised.
Here's Rose. And they'll call a foul on Fernandez. Oh, the action picking up from Madrid. The exciting finish coming up after this. 2010 FIBA World Championship on ESPN3.com. Look inside the huddle of head coach Sergio Scariolo and now Mike Krzyzewski. All right, Coach Fran Fraschilla, what is Coach K telling his team?
Well, you got 2 main weapons out there right now. You have the ability of Kevin Durant to create his own shot, but he's going to be ganged up on by the Spanish defense. If you can spread the floor and give Derrick Rose a driving lane, that's something I think has been really effective because of his strength and quickness. There's an interested onlooker. Pau Gasol, the Lakers, the 2-time NBA champs.
Now another look at the excitement in this game and how we've gotten to this point. Spain trailed by 12 at the half. They've been a different team in the second half. Tied this game up. They actually took a 2-point lead. Back and forth they have gone in the second half, and this is a tune-up to the FIBA World Championship. And it has been a good one.
Key now is to get the ball in cleanly and then get to your set. You've got the full 24-second clock because of the foul by Fernandez.
1 minute, 19 seconds to go. Rose.
Oh, my goodness.
Just did get it in.
Kind of interesting. You got the veteran Billups with the ball.
Odom, a 3 from the corner. All air.
As good as Chauncey Billups is, I think Derrick Rose creates more havoc at the paint level.
This is Rubio on the drive. Reyes, no. Missed opportunity for Spain.
You must manage the clock right here. Let's see if they can create an open court opportunity for Rose.
Under a minute to play. Rose.
Oh, I like it.
Derrick Rose, the lefty layup. And Team USA grabs a 2-point lead. You called for it, friend.
Well, he's got the strength to be able to finish, and there was contact there, but he absorbed the contact, and I think he used the left hand right there. It's almost impossible one-on-one to keep Derrick Rose out of the lane, and a good tactical move by Mike Krzyzewski.
And you talked about him being the type of FIBA player that Team USA has been looking for. Illustrate that point again.
Well, you know what? You've got guys that can shoot the ball from long range, but really when you talk about FIBA play, it's about attacking the basket and knowing that when you handle contact, you're gonna be fouled and you gotta finish. But hey, you gotta love what Spain has done in terms of Gasol. And then, man, Kevin Durant has been brilliant today, Kevin. Just like Coach K would have liked it. He's got to be the go-to guy.
He's looked for his shot, has Kevin Durant. Ricky Rubio has electrified this crowd in Madrid. And with 32 seconds and change to play.
Man, what a finish, huh?
Courtesy of that Derrick Rose left-handed layup, Team USA a 2-point lead.
Now, if you're Sergio Scariolo, your go-to guy is obviously Juan Carlos Navarro. Rubio can create, but he's better in the full court. Navarro can create shots for himself, and he's also a deft passer. So you may have some pick and roll, or you may be able to spread the floor and let him operate. Sometimes you don't want pick and roll because it brings the second defender. If you have a guy like Rose who doesn't need the screen up top, just spread the court and let him go. So it'll be interesting to see what Scariolo does here. Boy, watch this strength. Watch him take it body to body on a 265-pound center.
And that's emerging NBA star against emerging NBA star, and the athleticism of Derrick Rose winning out.
I mentioned to you earlier, I think when we did the blue-white game, Rose and Durant are going to start in 2012. Let's watch Navarro.
Under 30 seconds. Here is Navarro. Basket and a foul.
Watch this. He rejected the screen because he knew he could get by Iguodala unimpeded.
We highlighted Juan Carlos Navarro off the top and his experience in these big international competitions, his success particularly against Team USA, and it's Juan Carlos Navarro a chance to give Spain a 1-point lead.
You know he's not missing this one. This guy's too clutch.
A clutch free throw shooter. He's got 20 points in Spain, a 1-point lead. 25 seconds to go.
Good matchup.
Rose fouled on his way up by Gasol.
Rubio did everything he could to try to poke it loose, but once Rose handled the pressure, he was off to the races. Take a look at this strength. Look at him jump into Gasol. That's good basketball.
Now, Team USA has wanted to see Kevin Durant step up as a go-to guy, but you need help, and Derrick Rose has gladly taken on that role. A 77% free throw shooter this past season as a member of the Chicago Bulls. Pressure free throw right there, and we're tied at 85.
Now, this is a young man that's averaged 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists during his first 2 years in the NBA playoffs, so he understands pressure.
For the lead, and Derrick Rose, 2 critical free throws, giving Team USA an 86-85 advantage.
Now, once again, now, if you're Coach Sergio Scariolo, your main weapon is Juan Carlos Navarro, who is obviously a very clutch player. You've got to decide here whether you want him. You know, the key now is how quickly do you shoot the ball? You're down 1 and there's 16 seconds. You want to give your team a chance to grab an offensive rebound. Now, do you, if you're Coach K, have the guts to maybe in this situation go a little bit of zone? Jim Boeheim has put the 2-3 zone in. Do you use it now, or do you save it maybe for a key point during the World Championships? Interesting discussions here going on in both huddles. And I sure wish I knew Spanish.
Well, mano y mano, we know that.
And we know man to man. Maybe it is time for a zone.
Final instructions for Coach K and Team USA. We'll see how they defend things here against Spain.
Well, again, you want to give your team a chance to get an offensive rebound. And if you're Coach Scariolo, you want to have the ball in your most clutch players' hands. Remember, because of FIBA rules, they took the timeout under 2 minutes. In FIBA, you advance the ball to midcourt. Starting on October 1st, it'll be the NBA rule. You can advance it all the way down to the top of the key. Really not a factor here because there's plenty of time on the clock.
16.9 seconds to go. We'll see how Team USA does defend.
Hey, they've gone to the zone.
You called for it, Fred.
Got to move that ball.
Navarro, Rubio, partially blocked by Durant. 5 seconds to go. Fernandez, blocked by Durant. Time will run out.
6-10. Kevin Durant has been so good offensively, but how about the 2 defensive stops at the end? That's guts.
Oh, Coach Verschilla called for the zone. Coach K gave the zone. And
I didn't call for it. Coach K had the guts to use it.
Team USA, a 1-point victory over Spain. A thrilling finish from Madrid. Player of the game. A thrilling finish from Madrid, and this was just an exhibition. Team USA, an 86-85 victory over Spain. Well, today's Tiffany and Company Player of the Game is Kevin Durant, and presenting the award is Raffaello Banchero, Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of Tiffany and Company Europe.
It's a nice piece of silver.
Brad, we've been calling for Kevin Durant to become more assertive. We saw his defense at the end of the game, but he really gave a complete performance today.
He needs to be this way, exactly the way he played today in terms of the aggressiveness at both ends of the court, but particularly on the offensive end, because when he is assertive, it's going to draw multiple defenders to him, open things up for his teammates. But I think, Kevin, there'll be a game or two in the World Championships where he will have to go out and get 30-plus.
25 points and 10 rebounds in this one. Our next USA basketball game is Wednesday noon Eastern on ESPN from Athens when the U.S. takes on Greece.